Well, let me tell you something, brother.
Snort, snort, snort.
Hogan. Drip.
Snort, snort.
I got the drip. Go.
So I want to start off by saying I know that the screen might look a little messy today. Usually I zoom in and just focus on his face and I take out the chat, and unfortunately I cut out the Snortomania in the corner. I'm sorry, Snort Hogan. But today I'm going to leave it all zoomed out because thankfully, Snort Hogan, big ups for this, really appreciate it. I was hoping that I didn't have to get this myself. But Snort Hogan included the piece of peace information that will be really useful later during this cope. So I'm going to leave it all zoomed out. You're going to get the chat, you're going to get all the logos, all of that. And extra big ups for both Snort Hogan and Piece of Peace. I really appreciate not only going to get the information, but Snort Hogan including it in his clip. Really easy for me. Thank you.
All right, so anyway, Lives of Peace stays at a high level. Last night, for the first time in over a month, I played with Blanca in Street Fighter 5, or excuse me, Street Fighter 6. In fact, I looked it up. The last time I played with Blanca was September 1st, and that was the day when I hit master level with Blanca on PS5.
Yeah, that's not a coincidence at all. You ran away from all of your characters once you hit master with them. It's almost like you were avoiding master or something.
So that was it. It had been pretty much exactly a month since I had used the character. Now, I knew playing with Blanca was going to be interesting because, number one, I haven't used him in a month. I'm rusty. Number two, this is master level. This isn't climbing the ranks, grinding through platinum and diamond. This is the higher level gameplay. So I knew right off the bat that I was going into something that was likely going to be way more challenging than what I had faced before.
I don't play Street Fighter 6. I actually don't play any ranked games anymore. But is that how their ranking system works? Can somebody tell me? Is it when you get into Master, like all of a sudden the game really starts? Is that the idea? It just seems weird to me that there would be this arbitrary line like at Master where all of a sudden it's high tier gameplay, I guess. I'm just curious if that's how it really works or if he's just trying to hype up his own bullshit achievement.
And so I'm like, all right, well, let's see how it goes, you know, and let's test it out. Right? So I tested it out. And I'll be honest with you guys, it was very hit or miss. All right? Some of the matches went really well. Some of the matches went horribly.
This is the second time I've seen him actually explain to his audience what hit or miss means since I started doing content, which has only been like 2 months. I didn't call it out the first time, but I genuinely want to know who doesn't understand what hit or miss mean. He did it when he was talking about door dashing breakfast the other day, and he's doing it now again with Street Fighter 6. I just want to know who he's explaining this to. It's probably Jade. I'm sorry, Jade.
Now, when I say horribly, it's for various different reasons. In some matches, I was just so rusty that I got outplayed. And I got mixed up or whatever. I actually fought my first Aki in Master, and the Aki was interesting because when the Aki got something going, they could continuously just attack you and keep you mixed up and guessing, and you lose easily. But then the moment you shut down that rushdown pattern, the Aki had no idea what to do, and I beat the Aki. So it was kind of like, almost like a 50-50 chance, you know what I'm saying, of how you were going to perform. So in that regard, I kind of knew that's how it was going to be. All right, but what annoyed me, and what will continue to annoy me in this game, is that, again, I tend to play characters, at least right now in Street Fighter 6. All right, Jasper, you got to go to the floor now.
Yeah, get the fuck out of here, Jasper. Welcome to Ban World.
In Street Fighter 6, I tend to not pick the top tiers. Let's be honest, I haven't used a single one. I tried Luke. I never really continued with Luke.
And I have a theory on why he doesn't use top tier characters in Street Fighter 6. And I'm definitely not the first to say this. I don't remember who originally said it, but it is obviously the answer. He refuses to play with the top tier characters because if he plays with them and loses, he runs out of excuses. I mean, obviously he wouldn't run out. He would still have all of the other things, which we'll definitely see in this video. But he couldn't instantly default to, oh, I lost because they're top tier. Because then you could immediately turn it around on him and say, okay, if Ken instantly beats a Blanca every single time, then how did you lose to a Blanca as Ken? Maybe you're not as good as you think you are, you know?
We all know who the top tiers are. Ew, now I have one of his hairs in my mouth. In Street Fighter 6, you know, Ken.
Detractor of the year.
Jury.
Surprised he would even say her name, dude. He's married. I'd go tell Kat, but we don't know where she is. Hashtag where's Kat?
DJ.
Urban style.
JP. Some would argue Chun-Li, but someone would say that she's more mid-tier to, or higher mid-tier, lower top tier. Those are kind of the ones that everyone agrees, right? Oh, Cammy as well. You know, there's like 5 or 6 characters that are absolutely known to be top tier in this game.
And the best part of him being so worried about who is and isn't top tier is that tiers don't actually matter at all. If you are genuinely good at the game, you could pick up any character and be good and place at tournaments. That's literally what Hungry Box did. That's where Low Tier God gets his name from. It's like that in any competitive game at all. If you're really good at the game, it doesn't matter what the circumstances are, you should win.
And then you've got the mid-tiers, all right? And the mid-tiers have some advantages, and they can do better than some... Jasper, no. You're not going to eat that one. Jasper. Jasper, if you're going to act up, you're going to have to leave.
Look, I get talking to your pets, but what I don't understand is talking to your pets like they're human beings on stream. That's something you can do in the privacy of your own home. You don't have to do that in front of a camera because all it does is make everybody cringe. Also, anybody who just tuned in is now thinking that you're talking to your kid, because who talks to a cat like that?
I'm not going to have you chewing wires to get my attention, so you just stop that right now. You know better. You know better than to chew wires, and I don't want to put up with this morning. It's for your own good. Stop that.
I swear these waste of time segments on the Level 1 podcast are becoming more and more frequent. And that little look up eye roll thing he just did, get out of here, dude. You're the one wasting our time. It's neither cute nor funny.
Jasper, what did I just say? You're going to listen to your father. Going to listen to your dad, or you're going to get grounded and no allowance. Could you just relax, please, Jasper? Seriously. Now he walks up for pets. This is how this cat is, because all he wants is attention. That's the only reason he's doing it. He's not chewing the wire because he wants to chew it. He's chewing it because he wants my attention. And he's upset that I'm talking with you guys and I'm not talking with him and I'm not paying attention to him. Not every moment can be for you, Jasper Kitty. I'm sorry. Not every moment, all right? I'm sorry. It's just not possible.
Yeah, if you watch that without me cutting in, that's about 40 seconds that no one will ever get back. Awesome.
All right, can I get back to what I was saying? Okay. So, as I was playing through Master Ranks with Blanca, a lot of matches I got outplayed, and that's fine. Because if you get outplayed, at the very least you could say, okay, I got beaten, and now I know I'm getting beaten or whatever.
And that right there is just where the sentence should end. Because anytime you lose in a fighting game, it's because you got outplayed. You shouldn't blame it on anything other than just being outplayed. Because that's what a healthy competitor does. They don't make excuses, but I'm sure you're about to. In fact, I know you're about to.
But, you know, top tier characters in Master, they're very hard to beat. Why? Because people are playing patterns. And these are the patterns that people have now mastered in 4 months of this game being out. And these patterns are very hard to beat, especially with these characters who have dominant ranged moves, like DJ throwing his double projectiles. You know, Ken, don't even get me started on how ridiculous he is with his midstream fireball, but then jabs and fierce punches that beat everything. It's tough, and these people don't have to try. I'm sorry, they just don't.
I still have no fucking idea what he's talking about when he talks about people constantly using patterns. Isn't that just what combos are? One combo goes into the next combo, goes into the next combo. Is that what he's talking about when he's talking about a pattern? Because that just sounds like they know how to use their characters. To say that it doesn't take any skill to flow your moves from one to another to win matches, that's literally the entire game, is it not? He's discrediting any effort that they put in, simply because they actually know how to utilize all of their characters' moves. That just seems insane.
They just play a pattern. It's a flowchart they've memorized. It's like muscle memory to them.
I mean, that's all fighting games are at the end of the day, though, isn't it? It's just muscle memory. You get the moves into your muscle memory, and then you do them without thinking about them, and then you win matches. The only thing that you would really have to think about is what the other person is doing. In DSP, you're not good enough to even think about, apparently. If all they have to do is follow the flowchart, you might as well just put the stick down.
See someone do this move, immediately do this move. 80% of the time it stops them, so just do it. Now, the 20% of the time that it doesn't stop them, they get punished, but they don't care. It hits 80% of the time, so why not just do it? And how do you think they ended up in Master? It wasn't because they were thinking and because they're intelligent and they're good at the game. It's because they played a flowchart that wins 80% of the time.
I mean, if they're willing to spend the time to practice and get this flowchart into their muscle memory, more power to them, especially if they're winning 80% of the time. That's low-key pretty impressive. I don't know if just anybody could do that, to be honest with you. So again, discrediting them just based off of that doesn't make any sense to me. You sound like a really sore loser.
So it's frustrating. It really is. It's very frustrating to try to beat the high-level flowchart top-tier stuff, especially when I'm not using a top-tier myself. I don't play with top-tier characters. Blanca, arguably, is high mid-tier, maybe low top-tier. Honda, mid-tier. Lily, bottom of the barrel. That's who I'm using in Master Ranking, you understand? So it's rough for me to try to win these matches.
I like the stealthy snort that he snuck in at the end there. That was good. But these are characters that you decided to use, DSP. That was entirely your choice. So when you get to make the decision on what characters you play, you don't get to come on stream and say like, oh, I'm not using the top tier characters, because you fucking could if you wanted to, but you choose not to. You choose to come on stream and complain about it. So I don't want to hear it. If you want to take advantage of the high tier characters, do that. If you don't, shut up and deal with it. It's just so annoying that after every single Street Fighter 6 stream, he has to come on and talk about the tier list, which again, if you're good at the game, they literally do not matter.
But by far, the thing that really upset me last night was the insane amount of dropped moves and combos. And you could say, well, maybe that's you, Phil, because you haven't played Blanca in a month. Fair enough. I'll take responsibility and say, I know that probably some of that was problems.
I'm willing to say all of it was you, DSP. Not only have you not played with that character in a month, so you're not getting the practice like you should, but you have the same problem with every single character in that you can't get consistent combos out. And I don't think that has anything to do with the game. I think that genuinely has to do with you not being able to put the same button sequence in over and over again consistently.
So sometimes I'm not doing anti-airs properly. My timing is delayed. But there's a difference between, okay, I picked the wrong move, did the wrong thing, took too long, and I'm in the middle of a basic 3-hit combo, and the second hit doesn't come out. Again and again and again.
Yeah, I'm gonna just go with that you need to be a better player. Because I think if this was something that was happening consistently to everybody, we'd have heard about it by now. But I don't see any other Street Fighter 6 streamers talking about how their moves constantly drop and they can't get out basic 3-hit combos. And if the game is constantly dropping 3-hit combos, how is everybody doing all those patterns that you keep talking about?
That's a problem. Blanca's basic bread and butter combo. Standing roundhouse, standing fierce punch, coward crouch, fierce punch. It's 3 hits, it juggles, you can do tons of things with that. You need it. You need it in every situation, whether you hit with a drive impact, whether you block a move and you're punishing, if you're drive rushing and doing that combo. You need that combo. I'm not kidding you. There were multiple matches, maybe 5 or more matches last night where I would have won a set if that basic 3-hit combo came out and it either dropped the input or it came out somehow with improper timing that it didn't combo.
Yeah, DSP, you'd win every single fucking match if the game just worked how it did in your brain. But that's not how video games work. You actually have to press the buttons correctly. You actually have to do proper timing. It only matters what you actually did. And what you actually did apparently was not good enough. I can't stand when people talk about online games and they're like, oh, I would have won if only this, if only that. Like, yeah, you would have won if everything went your way all of the time. But unfortunately, that's not how these things work for you. I don't know, dude. Again, you just sound like a sore loser who's constantly coping.
It's one of the easiest combos in the game. I'm sorry, I've played the game for over 4 months. I've played Blanca more than any other character. I know how to do the 3-hit combo.
Okay, because DSP's most played character is Blanca, and he's played the game for 4 months, most of which not being with Blanca, means that he can't drop that combo ever again. It's not possible. So don't even think that he dropped that combo, because it, again, is literally not possible. I don't know who wrote that law of the universe, but if you play a character off and on for 4 months, and it's your most played character, you can't drop combos anymore.
I'm not going to accept responsibility for the fact that this game won't give me basic combos online. I will not do that.
We can add that to the list of many, many things that you refuse to take responsibility for.
Again, yes, I definitely messed up in these matchups with things like, okay, I didn't think fast enough, so I didn't react fast enough to a jump in, all right? But a 3-hit combo not coming out for a fucking person who's been playing Street Fighter since the 1990s, that's bullshit.
Okay, so we're adding another prerequisite to that rule earlier. Not only do you have to play off and on with the character for 4 months, and it has to be your most played character, but now you also have to be playing Street Fighter since the 1990s. Then it's impossible for you to drop their combo.
So I'm calling it. It's bullshit. It's either one of many factors. It could be my joystick. I would prefer not to think so. I've played with this joystick offline and don't have issues. It's only online when all of a sudden the issues magically arise, okay?
Yeah, I would also imagine that it's not his joystick. But how much offline play has he really been putting in to accurately test whether or not that would be the case, you know?
It could be the format I'm playing on. I'm playing on PS5. I'm playing with this joystick. Maybe that adds some factors. I don't know.
I mean, didn't you buy this joystick specifically to play on the PS5, though? Isn't this the super special $300 fight stick that a bunch of professionals are using? How does that make any sense at all?
It could be the netcode. It could be that this rollback netcode favors people who just do a pattern rather than someone who's doing a combo that's different on the fly. We analyzed netcode a couple days ago on my React show and how essentially netcode assumes you're always doing the same thing. So if you're someone who's not doing the same thing, you have a higher chance of your input being dropped than someone who just does the same thing over and over.
Yeah, I rewatched that clip from the React the other day. I'm not quite sure that's exactly what was going on there or what they said at all. I'm pretty sure that he walked away with the exact opposite understanding of how the rollback netcode works. Because when they described it, it sounded like if you weren't doing the thing that it expected you to do, it would like jut you a little bit on the other person's screen to make up for it, which would move your character slightly and affect your opponent. Therefore favoring the person who isn't being predictable, because the game is going to have to compensate for that by moving your character or changing the animation mid-animation or whatever. Where in the opposite case, if you're constantly doing patterns and in a flow, the game would follow your movements a lot easier and make the game a lot more legible for your opponent, therefore taking that rollback lag flag, if you want to call it that, away. That was my takeaway from the video that we literally both watched, so I have no idea how we came away with opposite takeaways. But from what I was reading in the comments below that video, I'm pretty sure that DSP is in the wrong here.
That's bad, but that's rollback netcode, right? There was another really interesting factor, all right, that was definitely prominent last night. If you go back and you watch the 2.5 hours that I played this Master ranked gameplay, this was the first time I had ever played in Master, all right?
And this is where that info on the side of the screen is finally going to come into play.
I'm not exaggerating here. I think almost 95% of the matches I played said they were cross-platform. Now, if you guys aren't aware, what that means is it means I'm not playing people who are also playing on PS5 like I am. I'm either playing people who are playing on Xbox or PC. But sales numbers have proven that this game did not sell well on Xbox. It's been selling tons on PC and tons on PlayStation. Xbox sales, I believe people said, was 10 to 15% of the total sales of the game, right? So I want you to think about that. It's claiming that I'm playing everyone cross-platform. We know almost no one bought it on Xbox. What does that mean?
Apparently 15% of the player base is nobody. That seems kind of absurd to me when the game is cross-platform. Like, you can't just discount 15% of the player base. But that was one of our excuses for switching over to PS5. So I guess we gotta stick with it.
The vast majority of people who are playing this game on Master level are all on PC. Why?
So this is why that little chart is so useful. And Piece of Peace did us the kindness to put the total at the top of the chart. So as you can see, out of the 23 different people that DSP played yesterday, but only 13 of those players were actually on PC. The other 10 were on console. Now, I'm not good with math and I'm not going to break out my calculator for this, but that's only a little over half of them being PC players. So for him to say that the majority of Master Rank players that he played against yesterday were on PC is just a lie, like straight up a lie. And I want you to keep that in your mind as he builds up this excuse into a full-blown cope segment. Because knowing this information and listening to what he's about to say, again, just sounds insane.
Why? Why is everyone playing this game at a pro level playing it specifically on PC? There's got to be a reason. Now, I'm not some big analyst. I'm not in the FGC. I'm not someone who's following the trends. You know what I mean? All I know is that people have been finding ways to get advantages on PC, and I'm not saying they're unfair advantages, you know, but I'm saying that specifically, you know, in the last decade, people have found that when you play the PC versions of these games, you can find ways to get better performance. Whether that means that the game runs better on PC, whether that means that there's reduced input lag, whether it means that there's somehow reduced latency, or whatever it may be, they are finding ways to get a better response on PC.
Okay, Phil, and that's one of the caveats that comes with deciding what platform that you decide to play on. I play a lot of shooters, and a lot of shooters that have been released cross-platform unfortunately have really hard aim assist. That makes it a lot easier for console players to play with less skill. Now, I could sit here and complain about it all day long, but it's not going to do anything. What I have to do is just play better and shut up. Because again, you shouldn't be allowed to complain about things when it's your own decision that puts you there. You decided to play on PlayStation 5. In fact, that was your second time choosing on what platform to play this game on, because originally you chose Xbox. Now, if you were smart, you would have saved that $300 from the fight stick and not pre-ordered the most expensive version of Mortal Kombat 1 and put that towards a PC. That would have been a net negative for your entire stream, the temperature of your room, and an investment into fighting games like you were trying to do. But I know for some reason that moving your streams and gameplay to a PC is such a foreign concept.
Because here's the thing, and here's what you got to understand. Despite the fact that people like to cite statistics from 4 months ago, by the way, because initially when this game came out in June, there was testing across the board and essentially said it's all the same except PS4. If you're playing the PS4 version of the game, there's way more input lag, but all versions are equal. That was 4 months ago.
Okay, that might have been 4 months ago, but I'm pretty sure that someone would have come out and said something had that not been the case upon release or even more recent than that. I mean, think how quickly they found that MK1 bug between player 1 and player 2. You literally reported on that. So I think if there was this huge PC advantage, somebody would have said something. Somebody other than a 41-year-old man coping because he's not good at game.
And in 4 months, a lot changes, especially when you get your hands on the final version of a game. I guarantee you there is something going on in the competitive fighting game community where they've all figured out that if you play on PC, you can find a way to get better performance. Why else would everyone be playing it on PC? It literally doesn't even make sense. Why would they all be doing it at master level?
I mean, again, if he's talking about the people that he played specifically at master level, then he's just wrong, and it's not heavily skewed PC at all. But if he's talking about the people that he watches, like the people's streams that he watches to study, as he calls it, the new characters and whatnot, the reasoning behind that is more than likely just because they also stream, so it's way easier for them to stream and play games on the exact same device rather than have two.
It's more expensive to play this game on PC. It is. You have to get a system that's better to run it well. You'd have to get everything working on PC as opposed to just buy a console, pop it, and done, right? So there's got to be a reason why every pro player is playing this on PC.
Again, if you're talking about professional streamers that play, it's probably because they also stream. But if you're talking about the people that you played specifically, that's just not the case. You don't know what you're talking about. Now, a side note to that, and I have no proof to this, it's just a thought I had, but I don't think it would be the most absurd concept that people who take video games more seriously would be more skilled, and because they take them more seriously, they want them to perform the best, they want to see them at their max graphic fidelity and whatnot, they would be on PC, would they not? I mean, he said it himself, it's way easier to just buy a console, pop it in, and play, right? So it wouldn't be an absurd idea that someone who cares enough about video games to spend that kind of money to enjoy them would take them a little more seriously and therefore be a little more skilled, typically. It's just my thought, but if I need a third excuse as to why his cope is stupid and irrational, there you go.
And everyone's following suit. And I guarantee you that if you go ahead and you look into the community and you do some technical research, you'll find out why. It's probably all prominently there that they found ways to make it run better and perform better on PC. I guarantee it. So
Yo, and he sounds like an absolute lunatic sitting there like, oh, I guarantee it. If you just do a little bit of technical research, it would be there. I guarantee it. If you're so sure about it, DSP, why didn't you go look it up yourself? Why didn't you take the time out of your own day to actually figure it out instead of coming on stream and sounding like a complete fucking nutcase conspiracy theorist about why you lost a game last night? If you really wanted answers, you could go find them, but you don't because you would rather come here and literally cope live in front of everybody to come up with all sorts of excuses as to why you don't play at the level that you think you should be playing at.
what's funny to me is that I'm playing at Master, and I'm like, I can't even do a basic 3-hit combo, yet every PC player I'm playing seems to have great execution. I mean, insane amount of reaction to drive impact. I don't think I hit anyone. I think I hit one person with a drive impact last night, and every other time I tried was instant reaction to drive impact. Huh?
It's probably just because they're better than you, DSP. I don't know why this is such a difficult concept for you to understand. People are allowed to be better than you. In fact, I would say the majority of them are.
Instant, really. I can't do anything instantly. If I try to do anything instantly on PS5, there's delay. They're instantly reacting to drive impact. There's something going on, obviously, right? So here's the thing. Is this like so game-changingly crippling that you cannot play the game? Of course not. No.
Yo, you really sat here and theory crafted all about how PC players are secretly cheating this, that, and the other, and it's not even a big deal to you, apparently? What a fucking waste of time.
But it's definitely an unfair advantage, in my opinion. If you're playing a competitive fighting game and you want to get good at it, and you're now at the level where the only way to get better is to play a certain group of people, i.e. Master Rank. And the vast majority of people in Master Rank apparently are having an unfair advantage because of the platform they're playing on. That's just not fair.
Again, it was a platform that you decided to play on. No one made that decision for you. And I've had this thought when it comes to speedrunning as well. Like, you know, some games are faster to run in other languages. And I always thought, what if you don't want to play in that language? Are you just at a deficit because you refuse to play in like French or something? I don't know how it actually works in the community, but I personally came to the conclusion if you're determined to run in that category on that game, you're probably just going to shut up and deal with whatever language is the fastest to run because that's what competitors do. So if DSP's got such a problem with PC this and PC that, maybe he should have just done what he had to do and played on PC, because that's the kind of lengths that people go to actually play competitively. Some people even go to that length just for a hobby, but DSP won't do it for competition, his hobby, or his streams. Instead, he'd rather cope.
I'm sorry, it's bullshit. And offline, this would never be an issue because offline, everyone plays the same platform. So whether you're playing on Xbox, PS5, or PC, and you're all playing on the same hardware, there's no unfair advantage. But apparently, there is a distinct unfair advantage playing this game online. And I'm sorry, you should not be punished because you don't have a high-end gaming PC. You should have the same performance as everybody else. It's just not right.
Again, he's making all of these accusations without actually providing any proof or evidence at all that PC has any sort of advantage. Said he could guarantee you could find evidence and proof, but he was not willing to provide any himself, no.
And the way I see it is this is the future. Because everyone wanted cross-platform, right? Everyone said we want the biggest player base possible, and cross-platform is the way to do that. But essentially, the moment that you went cross-platform, you opened the floodgates to this level.
What does he mean by open the floodgates to this level? Sometimes I understand what he's saying, and then he finishes his saying off with something that doesn't make any sense. Like, I understand if he would have said you've opened the floodgates. I get that part. But what is this level? What is this ending on that phrase? What is that? And yes, cross-platform definitely does have some issues, right? As I said in this video, hardcore aim assist is an issue that I deal with in games that I play. But I would much rather deal with that than games dying off because their player bases just get too small over the years. I would rather deal with that than to meet someone in real life who shares a common interest in video games and not be able to play with them just because we've chosen different platforms.
Now, I'm not calling it cheating. I will refuse to do that because I don't think it's cheating. If you're a competitive player, you want to have every advantage you can get. That's fair. I'm not accusing these people of hacking or using unfair advantage. I'm just saying it really is ridiculous that one platform seems to have such advantage. So every time I go to play this game online, I'm going to have to face this. Not only am I facing people who play way more than me and probably have crazy muscle memory, better execution, thousands more matches under their belt than I have with these characters, but also now everything I do is delayed and my inputs drop more.
It's so crazy to me that this man who is a full-time video game streamer sits here and excuses his loss by saying that other people who aren't full-time video game streamers that actually have lives and jobs and things are going to beat him because they have more time to play and more matches under their belt and better muscle memory. I mean, Phil, you're the guy who does this for an actual living. What do you mean they have more time than you?
Oh, that's just great, isn't it? Like, I mean, wow. It wasn't hard enough for someone like me who's not in the FGC, not a pro, not aspiring to be that, to try to hang at this level.
Yeah, you might not be a pro and you might not be in the FGC, but you have all day to play whenever you want. How do you think that the Joe Schmo who has to work a construction job feels when he gets to play on Friday night only? Sorry, typically to be good at things and play at a competitive level, as you always like to say, it requires time. It requires dedication. If you don't have the time and or the dedication, you don't just get to play at a competitive level. That's not how competition works.
Now you're telling me everyone else has an advantage because they all got the game on PC too. It's like... Ooh! So, all I can say is, it is what it is. You know, I'm not going to sit here and freak out. Good thing is, I'm not a competitive fighting game player. I'm not.
Then why are you always so concerned about playing at a competitive level if you're not a competitive fighting game player? Why did we even bother with this segment at all?
I'm not aspiring to go to tournaments and do better. Then I would be upset. I'd legitimately be upset. And I'd be like, man, now I got to go buy a $2,000 PC to play this fucking game because everyone else has one too, and that's the only way to hang. Like, that's bullshit.
DSP showing off how little he actually understands PC gaming. Definitely don't need a $2,000 rig to play fucking Street Fighter 6. You're out of your mind. But that's probably just a number that he wanted to throw out for his dents. So when they keep asking him when he's going to move over to PC streaming, he can just throw out that it's $2,000 to get a decent computer, and then he won't have to do it. He can keep spending all that money on Hogan's and gin.
So luckily it's not that serious for me. But I just want everyone to understand, as I continue to play the game, I will get better. Likely, my execution just in general will get better anyway. But you got to understand, this again is just going to be a crazy uphill climb. Where everything is against me.
Yeah, just like always, DSP, you're the underdog. You're the hero of this story, fighting through all of life's challenges.
Because this is just how it is today. It's not how it used to be, where everyone had the same level of advantage or a level of chance. This is what competitive gaming has become. How do you get the upper hand, right?
I mean, that's what competitive gaming has always been, though. It's always been about how can you get the upper hand to get the win. This is not a new concept at all. That's typically why people use certain characters or certain weapons in video games, is because they're trying to use all of the advantages possible to get the win. And yes, as games have continued and gotten more and more competitive, there's technological advantages that you can utilize as well. That's why so many professional video game players or whatever have like high refresh rate monitors. Why they have super light mice or mice with a bunch of macros on the side. Using your advantages has always been a part of competition. Nothing has changed.
So let's do it. Let's just get every unfair upper hand advantage you possibly can get just to play online. I want you to think about that. The online play of the game, that means nothing. It means absolutely nothing. It's just practice. But these people care about it so much, they go out and they buy $2,000, $3,000 PCs to play this fucking game online. It's insanity when you think about it, but that's just how it is these days.
What do you mean it's just practice? For some people, this is the only way they're ever going to experience the game is online. And who the hell are you to judge someone for how they spend their money? They might have spent $2,000 on a PC, I doubt it, but they might have. But you spent $300 to play a fucking fighting game that is just practice, apparently. At least they can do something else with that PC. They could play other games with it. They could start a second business or something. What are you gonna do with that fight stick? You don't even like Mortal Kombat 1. You literally bought it just to play Street Fighter 6. And what, Tekken 8 when it comes out? Go fuck yourself, DSP. Absolutely disgusting that you would belittle these people who are just trying to enjoy the game that they enjoy playing. A hobby that these people love, and you want to sit here and gatekeep about competition. Competition that you said yourself you're not even a part of because you don't play competitively.
Oh well, I guess, right? Anyway, I last night was not necessarily angry because I wasn't, thankfully. I did not get angry, and I'm happy that I did not get angry, okay? Because I felt like if I did get angry, I would have played way worse.
And you gotta love that the Street Fighter 6 streams also are followed by an emotional update. Like, we're supposed to congratulate him for not flying off the handle because he lost an online match. An online match that he literally said is just practice anyway. It's just pathetic and childish. And the other day, he said that Kat literally told him that she doesn't want him to get angry when he plays Street Fighter 6. Yeah, he should be fucking embarrassed about that. That's never a conversation that you should actually have to have with your wife/roommate.
Right? But I can tell you that it was rough going. I won 24 matches and I lost 32. Okay? So that's only a 43% win-loss ratio. If you go back and you watch the matches, you would realize I would have won at least 10 more matches if the execution came out, if the combos didn't drop.
Yes, DSP, we went over this. You would have won if it would have went right, if it would have went your way. We get it. That's how all things work in life.
Because there were matches where I'm right in the middle of winning, and then all of a sudden I can't do a 3-hit combo. Or, okay, here comes the finishing move. And, like, I remember once I did standing roundhouse, anti-air. They're juggled. I did Blanca Ball, super. Now, the game is delayed enough. You have to do the motion for Blanca Ball and then the motion for super back-to-back. If you don't, you won't get the super cancel. So I do launcher, Blanca Ball, super. The game gives me launcher, standing medium punch, and then super after it. Which doesn't even make sense because I want you to think about this. If you did standing medium punch and it whiffed, there should be enough recovery on that now the super doesn't come out. The super came out anyway.
As someone who doesn't play Street Fighter 6 or really any fighting games at this point, this just sounds like nonsense bullshit. I don't really know who these segments are for anyway because I doubt any of the dents actually follow any of this. But I think that he thinks that by explaining stuff like this, he makes it sound more probable that the game is fucking up rather than him because he can just lose them in the jargon.
Just proving my point about the incredible amount of delay in this game, despite the fact that it claims that, it has a certain connection, certain latency. It's bullshit. So that's what I mean. It's not only a situation of, I can't even get a basic combo. I can't do any of these basics. They drop like crazy. So there were multiple matches. I would argue 10 out of all the matches I played. And if you do the math, if the 10 matches went in my favor because the moves came out, I would have won 34 matches and lost 22.
It's so weird to hear him try and sit here and justify that he should have won these games. I don't live in your clown world, DSP. As far as I'm concerned, you lost those matches because you play bad. There's not an excuse that you could give me or most people on why you lost that match that's going to just make us think that you should have won it or you even did win them. The only person you're actually going to wind up convincing is yourself. And I think that's part of your problem is that you drink your own Kool-Aid so much that you live in your own little clown world.
So it is what it is. All I can do is keep plugging away and try to get better and try to succeed in a situation where literally all circumstances will be against me if I continue to play on PS5.
There he goes again, our little underdog, really giving him hell. Against all odds, against all circumstances. What kind of ego do you have that you literally always think you're the underdog?
And there's nothing I can do about it besides finding $2,000 to $3,000 to drop on a gaming PC, which obviously I don't want to do. I think that would be pretty stupid to spend that much money on a PC just to play Street Fighter.
Well, I would hope that the PC would not be just for streaming Street Fighter 6. That's stupid as hell. I would hope that you would learn how to stream off of it while playing at the same time. That might even be an investment that would be worth your time, even if it was $2,000 or $3,000, which it wouldn't be, but even if it was. But I do like that you have the common sense to know that $2,000 to $3,000 for a PC just to play Street Fighter 6 is a dumbass idea. Keep on that same energy.
Especially, again, because I'm not aspiring to be a pro player. I think it's ridiculously unfair that there's this level of advantage. That they're not dropping moves.
You have literally no idea if they're not dropping moves. You have no evidence to that. You've never talked to these people. They've never explicitly told you that they are not dropping moves. So you don't get to come on stream and explicitly say that they are not dropping moves factually. That's not how this works. Because you're just talking out of your ass.
They could react, like I said, instant. I'm not even talking, oh, slight reaction. Instant reaction to drive impact. While when I do mine, the best I can do is maybe at the last chance it comes out. With them, it's instant. Like, get the fuck out of here, right? That's insanity. Now, there's going to be more Master gameplay coming this Wednesday, so we'll see how it goes. I'm hoping to incrementally get better. I don't want to have a 20 wins, 40 losses night every time I play this game. Hopefully I won't, you know, but I guess we'll have to find out. I don't know what else to say.
Now, I won't watch those streams, but I'll definitely be looking forward to the clip channels afterwards to get the salty highlights. And I would definitely recommend that you guys do the same because that salt is unparalleled.
The funny part is everyone's now parroting each other in the chat. What about your TV? You mean my brand new Sony TV that I bought a year ago that we looked up and has insanely low input lag compared to other TVs? The same TV that I've been playing games like Lies of P on, Wolong Fallen Dynasty on, and I'm perfect parrying everything? That TV? What are you talking about?
I mean, some people weren't here when you bought the TV, so I don't know why you're acting like an asshole about it. And you list these playthroughs like they were supposed to have watched them, but not everybody watches all of your playthroughs, dude. Besides, they were probably just trying to be considerate to you and give you another reason and excuse to cope.
The TV that I literally don't have problems with any game. But it's now you're going to blame my TV. What it's funny about is everyone always wants to point the finger at anything but what the obvious problem is, right? But it must be this instead. It could probably... No, it's not any of the bullshit that you can make up. It's the game.
Yeah, it's not any of the bullshit that you can make up. It's the bullshit that I make up. This is my stream, and all of the lies that I tell are the ones that are accurate, and all of the shit that you come up with is just dumb. I'm glad you could clear that up for us, Phil. Thank you.
The game gives unfair advantage to one platform, and there's nothing you can do about it besides try to play better or deal with it or buy a fucking PC. All right? Like, what are you... I mean, geez. It's just like, how do you make excuses for fucking Capcom? Like, why would you do that exactly?
I mean, probably the exact same way that you make excuses for your fucking self all goddamn day. I mean, if we really put all of the money on the table, what's more likely, that Capcom has actively fucked over a large chunk of their player base by giving an advantage to the PC? Or you're just bad at games, like you've been bad at games for the 15 years you've been on YouTube? If I had to put my money on it, I'm going for the latter, and it's not even a competition.
They're not going to kiss your ass. They're not going to send you a collector's edition package of Street Fighter 6 because you said, oh, it's your TV is the reason why this is happening, okay? They don't like you. You can stop trying to be the Capcom Defense Force, you know? And this doesn't buy you brownie points or anything like that, you understand?
He's so quick to get defensive about everything, too. The second that you don't agree with him or you entertain the idea that he's not 100% telling you the facts, he's coming for your fucking throat. He's instantly going to start insulting you and telling you that you're some sort of fanboy. You're just not allowed to have thoughts of your own in DSP's chat.
Anyway, so that's my experience. And the thing is, I did have fun. Like, playing it with Blanca again for the first time in a month was fun. And I feel like if I play more with Blanca, I would have a better time. Like, if I keep playing with Blanca and plugging away, I'll probably get a bit better. I'll get some more strategies and things. And likely, I'll end up being better and getting a better record. But I got to get there. And that's the thing. It's going to take grinding. Just like it did to grind to Master, this now is going to be a grind to get into that mentality of how to play in Master.
So first we had to grind to get to Master. Now we're grinding to get the mindset to play in Master. I'm sure eventually we'll be grinding while playing in Master with that mindset. Is there anything about Street Fighter 6 that isn't a grind? I mean, even getting through his Street Fighter streams feels like a grind.
Right? A lot of the things that I was doing, in the lower ranks likely will not work in Master. You know, some people, it's funny because some people would not tech a throw once and others teched every throw. It's like, damn, that's crazy. So some people are just at a different level in Master, right?
Yeah, it's almost like individual people have individual skill levels or something. Who knew that everyone that was in this rank wasn't going to play exactly the same? How odd.
So you got to adjust. And I will. I'll get better. All right? But yeah, it's disheartening right now. The initial response or the initial feeling I had was a little bit of disappointment and feeling disheartened because I had worked hard to get to Master twice with Blanca, and now that I'm there, oh well, you're at a disadvantage to everyone, just deal with it. Oh, well, no, that shouldn't be like that. It should be that everyone's on equal footing. This is the equivalent of back in the day me going to an arcade, and here's Street Fighter on a cabinet, and the person on the left-hand side, their controls work perfectly, and on the right-hand side, for some reason, the buttons don't work half the time.
Yo, of course he fucking has excuses offline as well. I'm not convinced that this guy has ever played a game of Street Fighter and didn't have an excuse as to why he lost. If he plays online, it's input lag, it's real lag, it's PC advantage, it's patterns. But offline, it's like the controls don't work. He's probably complaining about the color saturation. There's a glare on the screen. Dude cannot just accept any loss ever.
But you're still paying the same money to play the game, and you're still expected to play at a competitive level. And if you lose, you still got to get off the cabinet. Well, how is that fair? And I dealt with that all the time back in the day. It's the same feeling. You know, it pisses you off, and you're annoyed. At the same time, though, I controlled my anger, and I am happy about that. That now, you know, unlike when I was playing with Aki last week, where there was a lot going on personally in my life, and it really was driving me nuts. I'm more cool and calm and collected this week. So even though I was upset, I wasn't punching the joystick. I wasn't super angry or anything, you know.
Yeah, that whole baby rage segment where he was punching his joystick was actually absurd. No grown man should ever act like that about a video game. I felt like that was a real obvious window into his inability to emotionally regulate himself, which is a skill that you develop when you're like 4 years old and you should have a handle of by the time you're out of your mid-20s, I would say. But this dude is 41 years old and is actually having physical outbursts of anger towards an online video game.
For me, it was more, I was upset that things were dropping. It wasn't being upset at the people I'm playing, which, yeah, some of them were pattern players, but it was more being upset that I can't even get my moves out. You know what I mean? That's a different feeling, so.
And he had to slide in that little diss right there, and some of them were pattern players. What a coward.
Anyway, more coming, and we'll hopefully see if it goes better, all right? Anyway. So, that was yesterday.
But that's gonna do it for today's video. Of course, I had to show you guys this lethal level of Street Fighter 6 cope. I'm always happy to see when he has a bad Street Fighter 6 stream, given how much shit he gave MK1. He just made himself sound like a lunatic with all his conspiracy crafting that he was doing, all in a vain effort to excuse his terrible gameplay. But again, big ups to Snort Hogan. Glad to see you're back after your little hiatus you took not that long ago. And big ups to all of you guys, hitting you with the prayer hands. I really appreciate you guys all checking out the video and watching them, subscribing, all the comments. I love reading them. Hopefully I catch you guys in the next one. But in the meantime, make sure you check out other detractor channels and dive deeper into that Snortex.